Why were the police here for me, and why did they detain me in such a ruthless manner? I did absolutely nothing wrong. What were they thinking? As I was sitting in the police car driving away from Greenfield High School, I felt guilty for whatever reason. I knew I shouldn't be feeling guilty, however. My mom was staring me down in the back of the police car as we drove to the police station. I didn't feel like asking the police officers questions throughout the drive, mainly because I didn't want to stir up any more crap. But what in the world could I have done? How did they know I was in the basement? Maybe I should have hidden down there and waited till they were gone. And why did the policemen not storm down into why did the police officers not storm down into the basement? What crime could I have been accused of, if any? Police station, Monday, August 26, 2019. Fraud, attempted murder, and larceny were the crimes I was accused of, as stated by the police officers. Your name isn't David Martinez, the policewoman, Officer Katie stated. It's Leo Torres. How and why did you change it? The interrogation room that these officers pulled me into was gray, monotonous, and very cold. The chairs felt like hard stones to sit on, making my lower back sore. The lights felt blinding to stare at, and the officers had looks of trouble written all over their faces. The officers were sitting in chairs in front of me, while my mom was sitting in the corner of the room. I did nothing wrong. I'll explain why I changed my name in a second after I... Shut up and tell us what you did. You killed Mayor Xavier, didn't you? The other officer, Officer J, snapped at me. I didn't kill anybody. There's no invisible shame on my hands, I yelled at the officer through sobs. Officer Katie raised one eyebrow. If you didn't murder or assist in the murder of Mayor Xavier, then what about the fraud accusations placed on you? Officer Katie crossed her legs as suspicion appeared on her face. My heart beat so fast that I couldn't speak for a few seconds. After the question, I soon managed to spit out, I didn't commit any fraud. I changed my identity with the help of Nathan Martinez. The reasons for that are, Officer J asked, I just don't want people to know who I am. I'm Leo Torres, and if the whole school knows about me, I could end up dead like Joshua Franklin, I replied as I began to slowly stop crying. The Officer J and Katie both stood out of their seats, shocked. They both blurted out, You're Leo Torres? I nodded silently, and I caught word that this group called the Clyde Killers is out to kill me, and I was told that if that group knew I went to Greenfield High School, I'd be dead in a heartbeat. Both of the officers were completely shocked. Should we drop all accusations? Officer Katie whispered to Officer J. I began clattering my teeth in fear. Maybe I was gonna get out of this situation with no consequences. Not yet, Officer J mumbled. He turned away from Officer Katie and faced me before speaking. We still need to talk about your larceny charges. Did you steal Mayor Xavier's dead body? Sorry, what? I deadpanned. Why would I steal his body? And why are you asking me that? I would never take anybody's dead body. Officer J whispered into Officer Katie's ear again before looking back at me. Forget it, Leo. Your charges are all dropped, and to compensate for our mistakes, we could permanently change your identity in all databases. No cost on your end. I was completely dumbfounded by those words. An officer helping an aid of fraud? That's unheard of. I know it sounds unbelievable, but trust us, Leo. We'll change your identity in every database, Officer Katie said. Officer J nodded. What she said. So long as you comply with helping us investigate the homicide case regarding Mayor Xavier and Joshua Franklin, we will keep your fraud. But... Oh, and speaking of Joshua Franklin's homicide, I was there when it happened, I blurted out, rudely cutting off Officer J. His dad killed him! I didn't realize how loud my voice was getting, but I continued ranting. His dad mysteriously killed him. I don't know how. My speech became more of a stuttered mess rather than coherent and straightforward. His dad suffocated him. I didn't think that his dad had suffocated him. I mean, how could he choke him if he wasn't present? All right, calm down, Leo. Officer J ushered me to quiet down as he began to speak. No, his dad didn't choke him. He died of a heart attack. A heart attack? How? I asked in a demented manner. Officer J completely dodged my question, continuing to speak. All the signs point to death by a heart attack, but what do you have to say about it? Officer J leaned closer to me as he awaited my response. There's no way he could have died of a heart attack. His dad definitely killed him. I mean, why would you guys classify his death as a homicide case? I said. Officer Katie's face lit up as if she finally figured out some conundrum. You're totally right, Leo. Our chief was the one who issued the case, meaning we had no say in it. Maybe you and our chief think alike. Officer J stayed silent, not showing a similar facial expression of coruscation to Officer Katie. You're definitely a smart one, Leo, Officer J muttered. Maybe that's how you managed to save the city. I gave Officer J a slight smirk. No, that completely came out of stupidity. I began to think back to the days when everything transpired. Those events definitely didn't come out of intelligence, and I'm sure you can tell that. Are we done with this meeting yet? My mom sighed from the corner of the room. Everybody, including myself, shot back to face my mom, realizing we had all forgotten about her. Yes, you're excused from the meeting, but can we have Leo for a bit longer? Officer J asked. An angry and frustrated expression spread across my mom's face as she heard those words. My mom distressingly shouted, "You guys aren't keeping my son. Either I stay here with him or he doesn't stay here." I sighed to myself as I prepared for my mom to have a breakdown. "Mrs. Torres, your son is safe here. Nothing bad will happen to him." Officer Katie attempted to calm my mom down, though to no success as my mom came even closer to a breakdown. "He's my darn son, not any of yours," my mom snapped as she began to get out of her seat. "We're leaving. Bye." My mom rushed over to me, grabbed me by the arm, and left the interrogation room, slamming the door behind herself, still holding me tightly as I was being dragged along the floor. "Those darn police," my mom quietly cussed to herself as her anger began to fade like waves retreating from a shoreline. After school, August 26, 2019. My mom dropped me back off at the school after a swell of anger at the police station. The whole day I was thinking about the talk I had with Officer J and Officer Katie. Man, maybe I truly was as smart as they called me to be. I'm still shocked about how they detained me and accused me of horrendous crimes. Only one of 3 of the crimes they accused me of was actually true. All I want to know is why did they think I committed those crimes? Despite the situation from this morning, I continued the rest of the day with my head up and in a good mood. My David Martinez fraud was about to step up a whole nother level with the help of Officer J and Katie. School today was quite boring. Besides everybody buzzing around with the news that hit the city yesterday, it was another ordinary day. I didn't see or hear from Nathan at all today. He was probably absent if I had to guess. I was pretty upset at him, however. I could have legitimately died down in that basement with nobody to save me. I don't know why I was so foolish to go down in that basement, regardless of whether Nathan would be there or not. That place is dangerous. Today seemed like another day where I had to walk home from school again. I think my mom was still upset over the whole police situation, therefore meaning she didn't want to pick me up from school. And right when I began walking home, the thought crossed my mind that I could possibly be grounded for even longer due to what happened. Oh God, that made me not want to go home, but I had to. I don't know the situation when it came to my grades, though I expect my grades to be bad due to how many times I've missed classes this year.